Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into two of the absolute most epic tales of legendary returning protectors. We're talking about those incredibly intense moments where a realm is just teetering on the edge of total destruction, and we get to see exactly how their ultimate guardians step out of the shadows to take back what's theirs.
So think about this for a second, because it really all starts with one profound question. When evil reaches its absolute peak, how do these protectors actually return? In our first narrative, we've got the holy city of Kashi, which has been completely, and I mean completely, overrun by modern corporate demons. And then, juxtaposed right against that, we have the incredibly grand kingdom of Maishmati, but it is just structurally rotting from within due to all this hidden internal corruption. Both of these places are at the absolute peak of evil. But let me tell you, the saviors they get couldn't possibly be more different from one another.
Okay, let's unpack this comparison because it is fascinating. On one side, we have Rudra. This guy has been in a deep, deep meditative state, samadhi, for 10,000 years, and he wields the sheer, divine, magical force. It's just off the charts. But then, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we have Vikramjit. He spent 12 grueling years hiding out in the shadows. His body is literally failing him, yet he wields this grim, totally unmatched tactical genius. This stark dual narrative is the perfect setup for the clashing philosophies we're going to be looking at today.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, we'll hit the return of the heroes. Then we'll move into Rudravansh's War of Dharma, Maishmati's Blood Oath. We'll weigh power versus diplomacy. And finally, we'll wrap up with the annihilation of evil. Let's jump right in.
All right, Part 1, Return of the Heroes.
So we have to talk about the fallen worlds our heroes actually wake up to. You've got Kashi, this ancient sacred city that's now literally choked by the Azure Corporation's modern demonic tech. It's bleak. And on the flip side, you have the structural rot of Maishmati. It looks glorious on the outside, right? But inside, it is decaying from Minister Kalik's hidden treason. They are both worlds in desperate need of salvation, but they are dealing with entirely different breeds of corruption.
Moving on to Part 2, Rudravansh, the War of Dharma.
10,000. I really want you to just let that staggering number sink in for a minute. Rudra, who is known as the Void Emperor, spent 10,000 years in a meditative trance in the deepest caves of Kashi. And when the darkness of the Asur Empire finally reaches its breaking point, this blue hologram, the Dharma system, activates. He steps out of his cave into this hyper-modern world that he absolutely doesn't recognize. But the evil? The evil is exactly the same as it was millennia ago.
So, what does a 10,000-year-old Void Emperor do when he's confronted? Well, he uses Shunya Mudra, or void pressure. At the Manikarnika Ghat, Rudra doesn't even have to lift a single finger to save his first disciple, Aryan. He uses sheer, crushing void pressure to turn Tantric Vikral into ash. Poof, gone. It is just a breathtaking reminder of how Mahakalka Vidan operates in this universe.
And right in that very moment, Rudra drops this absolute bombshell of a declaration. He says, Kashi ki mitti Mahakal ki hai. The soil of Kashi belongs to the Lord of Time. He is looking right at these modern corporate demons and reminding them that all their tech and all their wealth mean absolutely nothing against his ancient authority. It just lays this unshakable foundation for his mystical fortress, the Rudra Ashram, to wage a full-on war of righteousness.
Which brings us to Part 3, Maishmati and the Blood Oath. Now, let's completely shift gears here and look at the tragedy that forged Vikramjit's genius. 12 years ago, at Year Zero, his elite Agni Dal was brutally betrayed from the inside by their own allies. Just awful. In Year 1, Vikramjit survives the massacre, but he contracts this slow, agonizing cold poison that is just systematically destroying his body. Fast forward to Year 12, and he finally makes it back to the palace. But he's frail, he's coughing up blood, and he's heavily disguised as this weak scholar named Acharya Vishnugupt. Because his body is totally failing him, he has to rely purely, 100%, on his intellect.
Now, what's really fascinating here is his step-by-step master plan. It's like a giant game of chess. He doesn't just charge in swinging a sword. First, he infiltrates the heavily guarded palace using his scholar disguise. Second, he figures out that Minister Kalik's real power is money, so he targets a corrupt grain merchant named Dunimam to cut off the funding. Third, he orchestrates this covert raid on Kalik's secret cave army. And finally, the whole shebang is building toward his ultimate goal, saving King Mahendra Bahabali and the Queen Mother from a massive internal coup. He is dismantling this corrupt system completely from the inside out.
All right, Part 4, Power versus Diplomacy. This right here is where the juxtaposition hits you the hardest. Rudra uses overt, unstoppable power. I mean, he's equipping his disciples with magical void staffs that slice through demonic illusions, and he is literally summoning a divine golden lion and a void dragon to fight shadow assassins. It's wild. But Vikramjit, he relies entirely on covert strategy. The guy is dying, so he leans heavy into psychological warfare, sleep powder, hidden spring blades up his sleeves, and perfectly timed smoke bombs. He's operating in this super gritty, high-stakes reality where just one wrong word means you lose your head.
When you actually map out Vikramjit's intellect in action, you see this series of absolute perfect checkmates. With the corrupt merchant Seth Thinaram, Vikramjit doesn't fight him. He sneaks into his mansion, leaves a treason letter on his desk, and literally blackmails the guy into turning against Minister Kalik. When he faces General Veer Singh, who was one of the original traitors, by the way, he uses immense guilt to force this incredible redemption arc, gaining a powerful inside ally. And for Kalik himself, a fake diary laced with explosive smoke powder, every single move is a masterclass in psychological victory.
And that leads us right into our final act, Part 5, Annihilation of Evil. So right before the swords are actually drawn in the Dark Ruins, Vikramjit delivers this chilling promise to General Veer Singh. He says, Raj kabhi dafan nahi hote. Secrets never stay buried, they just wait for their time. Man, it is the absolute perfect punctuation mark right before the final battle kicks off, a haunting reminder that the past is always going to catch up with corruption.
And then, absolute chaos erupts in the royal court. Kalik genuinely thinks he's won. He's holding the king hostage, demanding Vikramjit hand over this secret diary of treason. But instead, Vikramjit slides over a box that detonates into a massive smoke bomb. Through the blinding smoke, Vikramjit activates a hidden spring blade and injures Kalik. And then suddenly, crashing through the palace windows, Bakhtuar and the surviving shadows of the fire squad swing in. They instantly form the ancient, impenetrable Trishul View fighting formation, just this spinning wall of blades. And just when the doors are smashed open, a horseman rides in carrying the old squad flag. It's the lost prince of Mahishmati, who Vikramjit has been training in secret all these years. No way, right? It is an incredibly gritty, chaotic climax, and it contrasts so beautifully with Rudra's divine, heaven-shaking war cry, echoing all across the city of Kashi.
Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought. When the dust finally settles on these fallen worlds, who is it that truly saves a kingdom? Is it the god who descends from the heavens with unimaginable, reality-bending power? Or is it the frail mortal, running on borrowed time, who simply refuses to die until the job is done? I'm going to leave that for you to decide. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.